as any type of reward. It is just delivery of what I've discovered. That's it. I did it for myself. I wanted to know what the hell was going on, and these things, are, as far as I'm concerned, are very important discoveries. So we'll crack on. So last week I was told of amazing finds in the people have posted and sent some links to me. So these are the geoglyphs from, I think this is Band of area, it's roughly in Saudi Arabia. I started to have a look. The red banded area that you see is 174 miles around the perimeter, although there's a concentration, and this video would be far too long if I carried on putting push pins into these geoglyphs. So it's 27 miles by 57 miles long, but you can see that the majority of the area I haven't even bothered looking at because it would have taken me days and days, and this video would be about 4 hours long, and I haven't got 4 hours to put these things together. And so what I'm going to do now is take you on a tour of this to describe what I'm seeing in terms of my research data and what these geoglyphs are telling us in terms of the energy of creation, the Higgs boson, particle string theory, whatever. So as we zoom in, I haven't put anything that's an orb with a strand to me. You know, and people are going to go, well, where's your evidence for any of this stuff? What we got is orb. It looks very much like the prime matter. You know, it's very much like the biological cell, and you got the hole in it. Very similar. To me, it's what you would expect from the ancients. They've carved this stuff in petroglyphs into rock art. Here we have a site with a possible spiral and what we would class as a hook web orb or hook orb, which has a distinct shape and pattern. We have another one of these orb with a hole in it. The triangular shapes, we don't hold much of the triangular shapes other than the groupings of 3 of how the orbs bind together. But what we've shown is the triangular cutout in the Pac-Man shape in the orb. We have a triangle inside the orb, so that there is, and we also have triangular strands. Now everyone's gonna be going, well, what on earth is this? Isn't this just dust in front of the camera lens? Well, no, it's not. It's the energy of creation, that when it picks up the charge from the light, it reflects the image back to the camera. The ancients saw it. They saw it in the higher magnetic field. So here's another one. It's not great. Some of these Google images aren't of the highest quality. So this is a very interesting one. So I'll talk about it for a little while. What we have is we have tubes or a category of tubes or cutouts in orbs, which create little lines. These geoglyphs, so you have 2 orbs with this texture in effect inside the core of the orb. The overall length of these are 42 meters, the geoglyphs, so it's half the length of a football field or rugby field. What you have is the V shape. Now this V shape is particularly, so if you have a look on the Google Earth image and then the inset image in blue, I've reversed it so you can see it in comparison to the V strands that we get. And at the base of that V strand there is a tiny little dot, which we believe to be an orb, which feeds energy into that strand. You know, now we're starting to have a look at, once you've looked at the millions of photographs that you've taken, you start to build up an understanding by the eye, what the eye has seen. And so, these things are, things that I've seen. The shape, the delivery of energy from the web. The webs make things brighter or dimmer. So the language that I'm using now, and people are going, huh? What the hell is this man on about? You're not going to understand it. All you can do is look at the images that I'm putting up and try and see whether you can see the similarities within it. So we have an orb with a cutout. There's a half moon cutout, the inset. Now that shares energy through the strand to the other orb. So it's sitting on a type of pyramid effect. Are these orbs released from the ground by two strands of energy? To me, that's the probable explanation of how it will be seen in this locality. Orbs are seen in chemtrails. Do yourself a chemtrail orb search. Do a search on orbs. Do a search on orbs in space. Do a search on the tether incident. These things are seen. So, as we get closer to the increasing energy after a solar minimum, and there's enough of my videos, I don't want to divert into the solar minimum, how it's occurring, how I predicted it would occur. We have an orb that is pushing out another orb internally inside the orb. So is it telling us that this is what our planet is made from, this massless particle? There are a lot of things that I haven't recorded in the data, and the triangles are, although I've got these sketchy ideas, the triangle is, other than the webs and strands, is a little bit more unusual to me and to the data. But all the other things that I hold are very similar. I would be expecting things like that. So what we got? We got an orb with a strand there. It's just pushing up one of its strands. They attach to the strands to plants. This is an interesting one. So what we have on the first image, obviously the background image is of Google Earth. The first image is divided into three sections. The top image is the enlargement of the rock art, so-called rock art orb. The first image below that is a photograph of an orb with a keyhole effect in it, or we call them tubes in orbs. And the image alongside it, the light grey image, is of Northumberland rock art. So now we have the geoglyphs in the floor, and we have Northumberland rock art. Well, this matches worldwide rock art. So, you have now knowledge of it. I've also put another one with a longer tube in it, and they sort of swell out at the end of them or in the centre to create like a keyhole effect. So it'll just give you it's difficult to describe all these the geometry of the orb, bar and the wave, because there's geometry in it that just isn't geometry that we would know. So quickly into this talk, I just want to show you how this is 4,000-year-old rock art. It's been painted, then photographed, to show all the carvings on it. You have the hook web orb, which is a classic shape. Its midpoint it's like a crescent, but it's got a hook on the end, and I've measured the angles of intersection, and they're only 1 degree out. You have the flat orb, or the cut in half orb, and we have photographs of these forming on trees. We have the web strands, or the linked orb, that drop orbs out the ends of the tubes, which are in historical records. And we have the orb that divides. So what we have is a picture of string theory on a rock 4,000 years ago. And we're not even that close yet. With all our technology, we're not even that close now. the mainstream thought about it. We got gravity wrong, we got redshift wrong. So, and the ancients understood this. And we've even got our understanding of the ancients muddied by the New Age movement. So, we're in a bloody mess, to be honest. So no wonder we can't make head or tail of any of this stuff. So back to the images, and we'll go off to another. This area is 27 miles wide. So we got this settlements, but of course, if you had high resolution Google Earth imagery, then I could recognize more shape and pattern. The isosceles trapezoid. We got three orbs inside the internal of an orb. They link together, so we know that they can create that shape because we've got them with strands photographed. Got an orb with a triangle again. This repeating pattern, the rock art orb that we've just shown. I've just shown it quickly again. So it's the worldwide knowledge, and the ancient history records tell us that we were one. We were doing all the same things, building the same monuments, but of course the archaeologists are telling us, oh, it's only ritual. No, it wasn't. It's to do with their understanding of the energy. There was an energy interaction with this stuff. I'm not going to show any of the energy work and how it attaches to the hand because that will just confuse people. So this is an interesting one, and I never put it. I don't know whether I put it in the book that I wrote back in whenever it was 2006. Because I thought it was a prismatic effect from water on the lens, and that may be a contribute. It may be a factor in this creating this phenomenon or shape or pattern on this hexagonal orb. You have two pairs of parallel sides, and again these things are difficult to explain. So there's two pairs of parallels. Each of those pairs of parallels are equal to each other, but they're not equal to the pairs, and the remaining pairs of parallels are different lengths. Now obviously if you had a Google image which was better quality and from top on, you would be able to test whether that orb with a hole in it has the same geometry, but it's fairly distinct. But I did think in my data that was just an artifact of the lens. In seeing this rock art or this geoglyph, my thinking has been changed. So they didn't have digital cameras in pre-Bronze Age. Well, now this is an interesting one. Sorry, I've got a cold. I've just feeling pretty rough, to be honest. I'm not after the sympathy vote, mine. So what you've got is an orb with a hole in it. It's got the tubes in it, and what happens is they look like chains or linked orbs inside them. The orb pushes out a strand, so as you look at the geoglyph, you will see like a little line above it with a T shape, which is reflecting white light. Now, to me, that's not uncommon. The orb delivers energy, is delivered to the orb through the bar, and so this is common to my research. I don't have an actual image. I have a collation of the process. I got one with a nice bar that's converting, and but it'll give you an idea that they understood this process of the energy of creation. They're gods.